Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleHorror.
Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook Jim here, the WrestleHorror podcast. With me, as always, my co-host Donnie Hoover. Donnie, Pennywise's balloon looks normal again.
Oh yeah, it's hanging in there strong now. I think I did a good job on this one. It's lasting a little longer.
Been watching out for a Jason statue because I can get you one. I know you're going to replace Jason or replace Pennywise with Jason.
Oh yeah, if I get me a 6-foot Jason statue, he's out of here. Pennywise is out of here.
Should put Pennywise in Haley's room.
Right, I did that and I got in trouble. Terry yelled at me and told me to get it out of there. I even had the animatronic part turned on, so when she walked in and tripped a sensor, it would go off, and Terry was like, "Get that out of her room."
Nothing like scaring the kids, right?
Oh yeah, that's the fun of it.
But let's talk about you had a trip recently to Minnesota to Steele Domain Wrestling. How did that go?
Yeah, well, it started off terrible, but it ended up being a great trip. They Steele Domain, Mark Koval and Ed Hellier invited us down and wanted Onyx to defend the Arnold SportsWorld Kids and Teens Expo Championship down there. So we graciously accepted and made the trip down there. And we had planned to leave Wednesday night, and that was the plan. And because the show went until Saturday, but we were going to take a couple of days to see some sights. And we've never been to Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And 2 hours before we were supposed to go to the airport to board our flight, they called and canceled our flight on us and said it wasn't going to be till the next day, the Thursday afternoon, which wasn't going to work because Thursday morning we had already had plans for breakfast with some, very cool people. So we had a meeting, meeting down there we had to get to. So literally Southwest Airlines basically just said, hey, we got mechanical errors, flights canceled till tomorrow afternoon. And then after I pleaded that we had to be there Wednesday night, like that night, they pretty much just told us tough shit and and said they'll refund our money. And that was about it. So we found a flight on Delta to where we basically, as soon as we booked it, we had to leave out of the house and head straight to the airport to catch it in time. And it was basically double the price. So
that couldn't be cheap.
Yeah, no, it was double what we paid. So we paid basically for 4 plane tickets instead of 2, pretty much. Okay. But we did get there Wednesday night and all was good. And then, so we get there and get settled in and get up that next morning. And then we got to meet a great group of people for breakfast. And, some of the most notable names, like Darla, she's a good friend of Steele Domain Wrestling and Mark Koval and all them. And she set it all up, and she's a great lady. I've met her a few times now. But, they had some great guests, for breakfast. We had JJ Dillon joined us and his daughter, and they were real cool. Tony Garea and his wife Mercy was there. Of course, the Golden Idol, Mark Koval was there. Unfortunately, we had to put up with him. And another special guest that I really enjoyed was Barbara Goodish, which, if you know me personally, you know that I'm like a big Bruiser Brody mark. So getting to meet his wife was a big pleasure for me. So, it was a very good breakfast, a lot of cool things and an interesting story. We're sitting there having breakfast and we're all just chit-chatting. And Darla, just out of the blue, she's like, "Oh my God, there's the Sarge. I think that's Sarge." And there was no plans to, have dinner with Sergeant Slaughter, but, we look out the window of the restaurant and Sergeant Slaughter and his wife is walking into the restaurant. And, they were all meeting because we stayed for the Steele Domain show in Minneapolis, but they were all heading to Waterloo for a convention down in Waterloo, Iowa. So, and that's where Sarge was going. It just was coincidence that he showed up at the same restaurant. So when he came in and saw JJ and Tony Garea and all those guys, then he come over and talked to everybody for a few minutes and everything. But it was a very cool experience, just to sit down with those people, get to know them and see the shenanigans. There were some shenanigans that went down, but I don't know if I have liberties to tell the story yet. So yeah, I've told you off air, but we'll just leave it at that because I don't want to get no heat on myself. So, but it was a lot of fun and very enjoyable. And then, later on that day, we got into some stuff, went to see Mall of America, hung out there. That was a lot of fun. The place is as big as they say it is. It's, the largest shopping mall in the United States or in the world, maybe. I'm not sure, but that place was huge. It was 4 stories, 3 stories, had a basement with a aquarium in it, had an amusement park in the center of it. I mean, the place was massive. So we played around there, and then, then we went and we had dinner with Ed Hellier, and he talked a little business, Steele Domain and New Ohio Wrestling, and prepared for the match for Saturday. And so, Thursday was really enjoyable. And, said then Friday we got up and I got to have another pleasant breakfast, and it was with Eddie Sharkey. We call Cody Hawk the trainer of champions, but Eddie Sharkey's had that name for a long time. And, if you don't know Eddie Sharkey, I mean, just search him on YouTube and Google or wherever. He's trained like dang near everybody. He's trained, road warriors. I mean, I'm drawing a blank right now, but he's probably got a list 20, 30 long of top level talents that he's trained. And Mark Koval is not one of them. He was trained by Eddie Sharkey, but we're talking about top level. So,
You're talking about the Golden Idol here. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah. No, but yeah, the Golden Idol, I'll give him credit. He was great because that's where he's from. And of course, everybody knows he's co-owner of Steele Domain. And he drove us around and showed us a bunch of the sites. And it was really a lot of fun. Like I said, he knew the way around. He had the rental car and was our chauffeur, so to speak. And I was the passenger side backseat driver that kept bitching the whole time, stop, hey, look where you're going, so that was my job. And then everybody else was their job was to just laugh at us bickering. And then of course Onyx, he's half the back seat, and he's got Terry and Wendy back there, so he has to roll down the window every time so he can hang a quarter of his body out the window because he's so big. So we eventually ended up having to put him in the front a couple times. But we went to Lake Minnetonka and we had lunch there, and met some cool people there. Actually, our waitress, oddly enough, was went to Ohio State University and stuff, and she played not rugby, but the where you got the net, the stick with the net, lacrosse. There you go. So I'm drawing blanks on that. I did all kind of stuff today. But yeah, she was a lacrosse player for Ohio State, and of course we had our new Ohio shirts on, so it kind of started conversation. And she was like, yeah, I went to Ohio State, and isn't that? And Terry was like, well, I work at Ohio State. So I mean, that was just kind of weird, neat, the small world and stuff. So but Lake Minnetonka was amazing. It's a beautiful place, and we ate at the restaurant there on the lake, and it was really good. So then we went around and did some shopping and stuff like that. I had a friend of Mark's. She took us around and showed us some of the sites. And then so that was Friday, and then Saturday it was then we had dinner, of course, and Saturday it was business. We got up. We went and we got lunch, and then I put a picture on Facebook of Onyx and his triple cheeseburger and his giant chicken sandwich and all that, to where he was fueling up, and the man eat. I've never seen somebody eat so much. And so that was an interesting revelation of, going on a trip with Superman Onyx is just, realizing how much food he can put away. And
he had to fuel up for a match.
Oh yeah. But yeah, he was putting it down, so we had an enjoyable lunch and just got ready, and we went and did the show.
Well, I watched the match on Facebook Watch. I'm glad I got to watch it because it was a great match with Derek Stone, I believe.
Yeah, Derek Stone from Cairo, Egypt. Yep, that was the opponent.
And you came out as Onyx's manager, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, well, it kind of surprised me too. I didn't plan on doing it, and the first time I'd been on that side of the rail in many, many, many years. And I'll tell you what, though, being a manager hurts a lot less, so I wasn't complaining. But yeah, I mean, it was cool, and Mark and Ed just suggested it for fun, and I'd mentioned it, and they were like, yeah, just go out with Onyx and be his manager. And I was like, a bad or a good guy manager is not really that exciting or interesting. I was like, because they can't really do nothing, unless you're like an Elizabeth, or you're a beautiful woman to where you can go out there and be on his arm or whatever, or vice versa, good looking guy on a woman wrestler's arm, whatever. If you're a good guy manager per se, you really can't do nothing but clap your hands and work the crowd and kind of walk around the ring. So and me, I'm total opposite. If I'm I'm wanting to trip a foot and choke somebody, and so, but it was interesting. So I went out and did it. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Then the crowd, of course, as always, Onyx won the crowd over, and they loved him and swarmed him for pictures after the match. So that was really cool to see that they were real receptive, being that we were from Ohio, and of course our opponent was from Cairo, Egypt, so we had the USA thing going on our side. But yeah, like everybody was super nice. Everybody was real welcoming. The locker room was very cool. And Terry Bam Bam Gordy's daughter was on there, and a lot of interesting people was on there, and a lot of great people, and everybody was really nice. It was just an all around great experience.
Well, you were sporting the sunglasses. You had to have the manager sunglasses on.
Oh yeah. Terry bought me those, and she said I had to wear them and stuff. So I was like, all right. I mean, it was sunny out anyway, so it worked.
And you were cheering Onyx on, and quite frankly, watching the match, there was a couple of times I was a little bit nervous that he wasn't going to come back with that title.
Oh yeah. That Derek Stone wasn't no joke. I mean, not only was he a good opponent for Onyx, he was actually a big man. And he was big and powerful. I was surprised. I mean, of course he had trouble matching up with Onyx when it come to the full Nelson test of strength and stuff like that. Of course, I mean, I don't even think I could get my arms around Onyx to put on a full Nelson, let alone hold one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he gave Onyx everything he could handle, and like I said, they both did real well, and the crowd was into it and appreciated the match. So I mean, I couldn't have been more happy.
A funny story you mentioned to me off air a couple of days ago was that and as many of our listeners know, when we talk about Superman Onyx, I mean, he's the staple of New Ohio wrestling. He's a trainer. He's the Arnold SportsWorld Kids and Teens Expo champion.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves him, but you told me that people told him not to go to downtown Minneapolis. And when he starts to drive down there and realizes he doesn't need to go down there, something kind of screwy in downtown Minneapolis.
Right. Yeah. No, like I said, Mark and Ed and all the people that live up in Minnesota still told us that there's still some tension in downtown Minneapolis. And, they said that, the best bet is just to stay away, just to be safe. There's still some stuff going on up there in downtown, unfortunately. And so the best bet, and they said they don't even go downtown anymore. They just stay on the outskirts and the suburbs and all that until this all goes away. And what happened was Onyx, of course, Onyx being Onyx, we're sort of on a vacation and sort of prepping for a match for Saturday. And every morning we was there, he was up getting an Uber, going to LA Fitness to work out, like, at the butt crack of dawn. So, which that's why he's the champion, because he puts in the work. But and he was in the cat or the Uber, and his driver just happened to be black too, and he said that they were just chit-chatting and talking, and he had mentioned that we had talked about, because Mark said he would just like to drive us through downtown so we could kind of see it and see what all see what's happened and how all the businesses have shut down. And he says it really is a beautiful city, when it's in its full, going full force or whatever. So he wanted to take us down there, but I guess the driver of the Uber told Onyx, said, I would suggest you not go down there. If I was you, I would stay away from downtown Minneapolis. So Onyx came back and he said, yeah, he's like, we're not going to the Minneapolis. And I was like, why? He said, because my Uber driver said that we should stay away. And he says, when a black man tells another black man to stay away from downtown Minneapolis, then we need to stay away from downtown Minneapolis. so, I mean, it kind of struck me funny. And I was like, well, hey, guess what? We're not going to downtown Minneapolis.
Right. Onyx being who Onyx is, and he's an opposing figure.
Right. Yeah.
And for him to say, nope, not going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. If he gets that kind of warning and takes heed to it, I'm following suit. So we ended up not going. We played it safe and stayed away. But the biggest story of Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Bloomington, I got my Zantigos. First time I had it in 35, 40 years. I got my Zantigos, and it was amazing.
Was it?
Yes. Yeah, I'd been waiting for it for so long. Once I realized they still had them there, because they had one down by my house when I was a kid. So me and my dad would always go to Zantigos and get our cheese chilitos and all that. And that was like our thing. And it shut down like I said, 35 years ago, whatever. And I hadn't had one since. So I made it a note, which Mark Koval was 100% against it. He's like, you're going to get the shits and, you ain't going to be able to do nothing. I'm like, I don't care what happens. I'm going to Zantigos. So I kind of twisted his arm and made him take me to Zantigos. And, but yeah, so we all went there and they got to experience me and indulge in some chilitos, and they got to experience me acting like a total moron. So, getting nostalgic and everything. But, so yeah, that was like my highlight besides everything else, I ate a cannoli from Carlos Bakery there at the Mall of America. So, I mean, I experienced a lot of cool things, but yeah, Zantigos was top of the list.
Awesome. So Zantigos is a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, it's like Taco Bell, but better in my opinion.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right.
it was like Taco Bell before Taco Bell was Taco Bell.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, better food.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. I loved it. Yeah. Onyx's wife, she remembered it too, because they had one near where she lived. So she had a chilito with me. So we kind of, indulged in it together. And Terry never tried it. And Terry was the only other person that had something. But Onyx, of course, Onyx doesn't eat cheese and all that because of his strict diet, and Mark's just Mark, so Golden Idol just, he's too good to eat Zantigos apparently. So, but yeah, he don't know what he missed. It was awesome.
Well, I'm jealous because I would have eaten a chilito with you. It sounds amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, it was more nostalgic, than anything. I mean, they were still good, but yeah, it just brought back a lot of cool memories with, me and my dad. Cause like I said, that was our thing. And, I always remember Zantigos with him and going through the drive-through, and that was like our father-son thing back when I was little. So yeah, it was awesome. It was a good experience. And of course I got to take goofy pictures. That's all over Facebook now.
I've got to say, there's a place like that down where I grew up in Florida called Tippy's Taco House.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was like a step above, it was a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
The most amazing tacos you would ever want to get at this little hole in the wall in Melbourne, Florida. I miss that. I don't know if it's even still open. I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something I used to do when I was a kid with my parents, or my dad. He would take me and my brothers to Tippy's Taco House for tacos on like a Friday or Saturday.
All right. Yep.
So I feel you, man. I miss that nostalgia.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it was very cool. And then, like I said, it was back in the day, it was your basic, taco chain, it was a chain restaurant. But since then, like I said, they've all shut down except for, I think there's 4 or 5 left in Minnesota. And that's the only place I know of that they're at now. And so it was cool to get down there and try them again. I mean, it was pretty awesome. And I got a lot of ribbon from it from, like even Ed Hellier, he kind of was like, I heard you're coming all the way to Minnesota just to eat damn Zantigos. I was like, yep, like, you got it.
A few years back when as some people know, I grew up in Florida. Down in Florida, they've got barbecue joints in every corner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved to Ohio back in 2007, around 2008, I was wanting some. Now there's a chain down in Florida called Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. I mean, it's a chain, but I enjoyed it. And there's no Sonny's in Ohio, but I found one.
Oh, nice.
Kentucky, about 2.5 hours away from my house.
Oh, that's.
And I drove all the way down there just so I could get that Sonny's barbecue.
There you go. To taste the same.
Oh yes, it was. Like I've gone down, 2 or 3 times. I haven't killed myself going down there, but
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. And you enjoy those type of things that you don't see normally. I mean,
Oh yeah.
like Firehouse subs. You ever seen Firehouse subs in the
Mhm.
area?
Yep, I've had one.
When we first moved up to Ohio, they only had them down in Florida, and it's like, so
Mm-hmm.
I went to work for a place on the east side of Cincinnati, and I was driving home one day and I saw it coming soon, Firehouse. It's like I got all giddy. I got home. I told the ex-wife, "I said Firehouse is coming," and the day they opened, I was there.
Nice. Yeah, we got quite a few around here now. So I've had there a few times.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
I like them.
so let's talk about some exciting news for an upcoming show that we're going to be doing. And you had the privilege of talking to somebody who's going to be coming on the show sometime soon.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, a few of them. Actually, if we can get them all lined up. Like I said, Ed Hellier, he had dinner with us a few times. He's the co-owner of Steele Domain Wrestling, a real cool guy, a lot of good stories. So I'm going to reach out to him. We're going to try to set up a time for him. Of course, Eddie Sharkey, I would love to have on. I mean, that dude, Terry fell in absolute love with him. He reminded her of her grandfather, and she like kept giving him hugs, and they were cracking jokes, and she loved him to death. And he had so many cool stories. And then, Ed Hellier and Mark Koval was telling us stories about him and stuff. So I'd love to get him on here, but I'm not sure if he's up to speed with the Zoom. I don't know how we would get him on there to work it. Like I said, I know he's got a Facebook page, but he doesn't even get on Facebook. So, I don't know how it would work out with getting him on Zoom to record a podcast, but I'd love to. I'm going to work on it. But yeah, the one that you're talking about that we're both excited about, we just got to lock down the time to get her on, is Barbara Goodish. And she's already said that she was going to come on the show, and she's an amazing lady with a lot of amazing stories about Bruiser Brody, about herself, about life, about wrestling. So yeah, she's agreed to come on to the WrestleHorror podcast, and it's going to be a big honor to have her on. And like I said, we just gotta, if we can lock down a time this week, we'll have it up, for everybody next Monday or the Monday after. But it's just a matter of getting her schedule and our schedule synced up and getting her on here.
That's exciting news because I'm sure she's got some amazing stories about Bruiser Brody. And, you know, anybody in the wrestling business knows who he is and what a legend he was. And his life was cut short too soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But what an amazing talent he was. Gone, like I said, gone too soon, but he had the whole world in front of him. I can only imagine what wrestling would be like had he still been around.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he would have terrorized for many more years, I'd imagine.
So that's really going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to talking to Barbara and getting her insight about different things, not just about him, but everything in the wrestling business that she's been involved with.
Yeah, yeah. I said she wrote a book a little while back, a few years ago, and it's just basically called Brody. And yeah, it's a great book. And yeah, like I said, she was super nice when we talked to her, at breakfast, and really enjoyed spending time with all of them. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, because I'm a big Bruiser Brody fan. I love those big rough and tumble guys, and even when I was little, he kind of scared me a little bit, so that made me like him even more. But yeah, I'd love to hear, some of her stories that I wasn't able to hear when we were doing breakfast and everything.
Well, and like you had a who's who. I mean, of old school. I mean, you talked to
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Dillon. I mean, the leader or the figurehead of the Four Horsemen, J.J. Dillon. I mean,
Yeah.
and Tony Garea, who was a staple in AWA.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just wow, just some great, amazing talent you got to talk to.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and
yes.
that was another thing that you just brought that up that I didn't mention, was being where we were at was just minutes from where AWA back in the day actually ran. So that area of town we were in was basically the heart of AWA country. And, me growing up, me and my dad, our Friday nights was, we got Jimmy's Pizza, and then we watched AWA wrestling and then roller derby. That was our Friday nights for many years. So yeah, it was kind of, another nostalgic moment, but also a very cool moment as a wrestling fan, to be like, hey, this is where AWA, got its start. And, like I said, I've heard like through those 3 or 4 days we were there, we heard so many different AWA stories and just wrestling stories in general. So, yeah, that was really cool to be a part of, be down there and get to, be around that, and experience that.
Definitely being around a part of history. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
The territories, NWA, AWA, WWF, they all had their own niches at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they all worked together to create what wrestling is today.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of history, I can only imagine what it was like, man. And I'm glad you got to experience it and to be with some of that talent that was a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on. Let's talk about our next show.
Yeah, coming up next Sunday. August the 1st, and same time, 3:00. We got, we started out, the first show was 5 matches. We're going to do 7 matches on this one, but I think we're going to drop it back down to 5 after this. And if you want to know the honest truth, the main reason we're going to drop it back down to 5 is because Eddie Sharkey told me to. So that's pretty much the science behind it. Eddie Sharkey says, drop it back down to 5. You say, yes, sir. And you drop it back down to 5.
We've got a stacked card and a lot of great talent coming in for now 14 or Sunday Showdown 2.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Like I said, we got making his new Ohio wrestling debut, but he's making quite a stir in the indie wrestling scene. Is Damian Chambers. He's going to make his debut. He's wrestled in Columbus a few times before with other promotions here in the area. And he's wrestled all over Ohio. He's wrestled in AAW, and he's making a lot of waves. You said you've seen him in FGW, and he works at War Wrestling out there with Big Tom and them. So he's a great talent, and he's making a name real quick. So he's going to be making his debut with us, and we're excited to see it.
Excellent. And let's see who else we've got. We've got Tommy Irish coming in for this show.
Yeah, Tommy Irish is actually brought in, from what I'm hearing. He's coming in with Gino. Gino reached out to him, and then Ripper, of course, reached out to Now Management and got him a match. I think. Yeah, I know that because everybody knows that Gino and Onyx is going to finally do their match that they were supposed to do at the last show before Gino's injury. So, I'm thinking, that he's bringing in Tommy for a reason. But we got Tommy in a match with and also a newcomer to New Ohio Wrestling, Justin Xavier. So we brought him in against Tommy Irish, and Tommy Irish, this is his new Ohio Wrestling debut as well. Like I said, a lot of newcomers coming in on the Sunday shows, which is the point of it. And so Tommy Irish versus Justin Xavier, and it's going to be interesting to see how that one works out and see how these guys do.
So we've also got the Temple of Terror champion,
right?
Thunderbird Jake Ely,
mm-hmm.
And he's going against a fan favorite in Eric Smalls.
Yep, Half Pint Punk is making his Sunday wrestling show appearance, and he's going to be going against Jake. Like I said, Jake held on to the belt by losing to Marion Fontaine at the last show, as hot as that sounds. And so he's going to, we talked to Mark Koval, and he's going to put the title on the line and put it up against the Half Pint Punk, Eric Smalls. So we're going to see how that works out.
See, if you hadn't done that, I was going to needle the Golden Idol during the show and say, hey, look, you need to put this belt up against Eric Smalls, but you've already got it arranged. So I'm just going to harass him a little bit during the show.
Right.
And, who else have we got on the card here? I mean,
yeah, the next guys we could talk about is Scotty Amos. He debuted at the last Sunday Showdown. and had a really good outing with Celeste Taylor. Came up a little short in that controversial finish. And he's going up against another newcomer, for New Ohio Wrestling. And this guy's name's Prima Donnie. And he comes from down south area of Ohio, Southern Ohio, and I've heard a lot of great things about this guy. And we're going to put him in there with Scotty Amos and see what happens.
Well, that match Scotty Amos had with Celeste Taylor was just an amazing display of high flying between the two. And even though the ending was questionable, they both did a great outing and a great show and match that is hard to match, really. I mean, with their everything between their technical prowess to maybe Scotty's little underhandedness,
right,
was still just an amazing match to watch these two go at it.
Oh yeah. And like I said, that's going to be an exciting one to see. I'm kind of interested. I've heard a lot of good things about Prima Donnie, so I'm kind of interested to see what he's got to offer, and I'm ready to enjoy that one. Another match that we got scheduled is the professional Brandon Fields against another New Ohio Wrestling fan favorite, Marion Fontaine.
The best semi-pro wrestler.
That's right. So, that's going to be an exciting one. Brandon Fields is a technical guru, so to speak, and Marion Fontaine can wrestle very good himself, but he also likes to have some fun and is full of shenanigans. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this one.
Well, technically, Marion should be the Temple of Terror champion.
All right.
I still want to argue that with the Golden Idol because, come on, let's face facts. Marion beat Thunderbird Jake Healy.
Yeah, he did, fair and square.
But the Golden Idol being who he is,
all right.
I don't know, man. and one match I'm really looking forward to, aside from the main event. Now, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You got Warhorse versus Cody Hawk and Chuck the Truck.
Yeah, and like I said, if you were at the first Sunday Showdown, and this stems from that confrontation we had with them, where Chuck the Truck and Pat the Bruiser had a match, and then Crosshairs Kelly come out and got involved, and got Pat the Bruiser the win, and then during Cody Hawk and Crosshairs match, Pat the Bruiser just came out with Crosshairs and then tried to get involved and ended up getting himself disqualified. So they attacked Cody, and then of course Chuck the Truck come out to give Cody some assistance, and which set up the tag match. And this tag match I haven't announced it yet, but this tag match is going to be our first tag match that is going to be for our new tag team championships. We're setting up a tag team championship tournament. We have new title belts. We're going to crown some tag team champions. And I'm announcing now, this first time I've mentioned it, but this tag match will be the first match in the first round of the tag team title tournament.
Okay, so this is a qualifying.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so the winners of this match will go on to the next step in the tournament.
Yep, they'll go into the next round for sure.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. I've seen the straps. We took them to Squared Circle Expo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about time we had some tag team champions.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We're getting to that point where we're going to put them on them.
And of course, the main event, we didn't get it last show because of an injury that Gino suffered.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Fields put up a good fight against Onyx, but this time around it's going to be Onyx versus Gino. And I don't know. What do you think about this match, Donnie? How do you think it's going to play out? You think Ripper and his boys are going to get involved, or?
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a coincidence that Ripper brought Tommy Irish to the table to have him, debut at New Ohio Wrestling. Like I said, Ripper's not stupid, but I still stand, like I did when the first match was coming. Onyx is a great champion. He's big, he's strong. Powerful as all get out. But, I think if there's anybody that's going to give Onyx a run for his money, it's going to be Gino DiCapo. because of course he has a toughness all his own, as he displayed at Sunday Showdown 1, where he went and picked a fight with 5 guys just to prepare for the match. So I mean, the guy's tough as nails, and with Ripper at his side, and now maybe, like I said, we're gonna have to keep an eye on this Tommy Irish and try to keep him out of the mix. But I think it's, if anybody has a chance of giving Onyx a run for his money and maybe pulling off an upset, it's going to be the made man Gino DiCapo.
Well, Onyx has been a great champion since he won the title, and to see Gino win it would just kind of, I don't know, besmirch the title as it is. But we're just going to find out and see what happens at Sunday Showdown 2.
Oh yeah. Because I guarantee you, like I said, Onyx, lives and breathes that Arnold Championship, and I don't think that Gino and Ripper would represent the Arnold style and the Arnold class as Onyx has. Let's just say that.
I couldn't agree with you more, but we've got a stacked card for Sunday, and looking forward to it. Again, it starts at 3:00. Yep. And it's now Training Center at
625 Eastgate Parkway, and then we're in unit 6137.
Follow the sign.
Oh yeah, yep. And we'll be there. It's like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
It is. It's going to be great fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I know, Donnie, you're looking forward to it. But the one thing we haven't mentioned about Sunday Showdown number 2 is the fundraiser.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And oddly enough, let me get that information up. I'm glad you said that. I'm unprepared again, as usual. Imagine that, Donnie being unprepared. It's for the Pelotonia race, and the race is Wendy Holly is who we're sponsoring, and she happens to be my aunt. And she was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago, and she's been fighting it, and she's actually come out on the winning end of it so far and has beat it. So we're excited for that, and we're glad of that. And it's for the Pelotonia fundraiser, and for the 2021 edition. And the Pelotonia is August 6th through the 8th. And like I said, Wendy Holly's our sponsored rider. And so we would love, for everybody to come out. We're going to donate a portion of the ticket sales to her fund, to her ride, and donate that. And for anybody else that would love to, also participate in that, you can go to pelotonia.org/profile/WH727251. And that'll go to her page where you can sponsor her as a rider. And, like I said, we're excited to be able to help out with that and do that. And we're excited for her. She's done it for many years now. And I think it's her second or third Pelotonia, if I'm not mistaken. But so we're excited for her, and we're rooting for her, and she's kicking butt and doing great. And she's in better shape now than she's ever been. And she's in probably 5 times better shape than I am. So I'm not going to mess with her, because she probably beat me up from all the stuff back in our teenage days that I did to her. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm sorry, I totally slipped my mind to mention.
No, I'm happy to bring it up. Now, is she going to be at the show Sunday?
Yes, she is. Yeah, she's going to be there, and she's going to be helping, work the tables and stuff, taking donations, talking to people. So yeah, she will be on hand. And if anybody has any Pelotonia questions, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to answer them as best she can. So she will be there, and it's a great cause. Like I said, we're proud of her working as hard as she has. We're happy that she's came through on the winning side of it. And so we're pulling for her.
So I'm going to drag her into the ring.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think she knows that yet, and I don't know if she listens to the podcast, because she's not much of a horror fan. But we're gonna do it anyways.
We're gonna put her on the spot. We're gonna get her in the ring and put a microphone in her face.
There you go. Absolutely.
All right. So we've got a lot going on. You had a great trip.
Oh yeah. The Steele Domain people and the people, that surrounds them are amazing. Like I said, the locker room was awesome. everybody was so nice. All of the people that we met down there, and like I said, Mark and Ed and all their friends, and really came together and helped us out and showed us the sites, and we had a great time, and so I couldn't thank them more. And we're definitely going to try to go back down there or go back up there and do it again, because we want to go back and visit a little more. It was really good.
Well, see, I probably would have marked out just talking to Tony Garea,
Oh yeah,
Barbara and Eddie Sharkey.
Yeah, me and Tony Garea and Terry actually got scolded by his wife because they were trying to get us all together to take pictures out in the parking lot. And Tony, we would walking out together, me, Terry, and Tony, and he looked down and he saw our polo shirts, and mine, I just had the black polo shirt with the Now logo, and then Terry had our red one on. It said Now Training Center. So he looked at mine and he looked at her logos, and he asked Terry what it was. So she started explaining to him that we have New Ohio Wrestling, and it's the training center we have in Columbus. And he just went on this tangent about Ohio wrestling and how he loved Ohio. And he was naming, I wrestled in Akron and Athens and Youngstown and Warren. And he was naming all these, and it was just Mr. Chatterbox just telling us all these stories. And finally his wife, Mercy, she's like, Tony, get over here. You guys get over here. So she like scolded us because he was, she just saw our shirts and saw Ohio and just started, chatterboxing. Like he loved, Columbus wrestling and the rich history of it. And so yeah, it's kind of funny. We got in trouble, but you'll have that.
It's a good trouble.
Oh yeah,
it's a good trouble. So anything, any closing comments before we sign off?
Yeah, just if you guys want to support Wendy with the Pelotonia, if you want to come out and support New Ohio Wrestling with some great wrestling matches, just go to newohiolive.com and get your tickets. Like I said, it's same setup. We're only able to seat 50 people, so there's not a lot left. So you can get them while you can, because they're most likely going to be gone before show day. And we'd love to see everybody out there. And if you could go to Wendy's webpage and donate for the Pelotonia and donate to her cause. They're riding a lot of miles and putting in a lot of work and effort, to raise money for this, great cause and stuff. So, please support them and support us, and we'll see you guys next Sunday.
Excellent, Donnie. I'm looking forward to it. We've got a great cause we're doing fundraising for. We've got a great card coming up. What else can be said? I mean, be there. If you can't be there, watch the recaps.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But for Donnie Hoover, I am Meathook Jim. We are the WrestleHorror Podcast, and we will see you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets: Facebook.com/WrestleHorror, Instagram @WrestleHorror, Twitter @WrestleHorror, on YouTube at the WrestleHorror channel. And you can also find us on our website, www.WrestleHorror.com.